More laughter. More casual destruction of everything I was. I had heard enough. I walked away, my legs somehow carrying me back to my room even though I felt like I was floating outside my body. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at nothing. The ocean outside my window sparkled in the moonlight, but I couldn't see its beauty. All I could see was the ugly truth. My daughter didn't love me. She never had. Maybe she had when she was young, but somewhere along the way I had become nothing more than a tool to be used. An inconvenience to be tolerated. A burden to be discarded. But as I sat there in the darkness, something began to change. Pain was still there, deeper than ever. But it was joined by something else now. Anger. Pure, cold, righteous anger. I pulled out my phone and called Kwame. He answered on the first ring. "Mrs. Amara," he said. "Is everything all right?" "No," I said, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. "But it will be. I need you to do something for me." The next day started like the others. Chidinma came to my room early, giving me instructions about the children as if I were her employee. "We'll be out all day," she said. "There's an art gallery opening we want to attend, and then lunch. Keep the children entertained." "Actually," I said calmly, "I have other plans today." She looked at me as if I'd spoken in a foreign language. "Excuse me?" "I said I have other plans," I repeated. "You'll need to make other arrangements for the children." Her face darkened. "What are you talking about? You're here to help with the children. That's why we brought you." "No," I said, standing up straighter. "That's why you thought you brought me." "Mama, don't be difficult," Emeka said, appearing behind Chidinma. "We have plans. You're being selfish." Selfish? The word tasted bitter. Let me tell you what selfish is. Selfish is bringing your mother on vacation and treating her like a servant. Selfish is lying to her face while taking her money. Selfish is discussing her death as if it's something to celebrate. Chidinma's face went white. "What are you talking about?" "I heard you," I said quietly. "Last night at the bar. I heard everything." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Chidinma's shock turned to rage. "You were spying on us?" "I was walking through a hotel that I own," I said, letting the words hang in the air. "You don't own anything," Chidinma spat. "You're a delusional old woman who lives in a tiny flat and survives on handouts from us. Stop embarrassing yourself." I walked to the closet and pulled out my laptop. I opened it and turned it toward them. On the screen was the incorporation papers for my hotel company with my name as CEO and sole owner. "Golden Gate Hotel, Accra," I said. "Sunshine Resort, Lagos. Crown Plaza, Abuja. Paradise Suites, Kumasi. 12 properties in total. All mine. All built from nothing." I pulled out another document, a detailed record of every penny I had given them over the years. "Your wedding? I paid for half of it. Your house deposit? That was my money. Ada's school fees last year when Emeka's business had problems? Also me. In the past 7 years I have given you over 85 million naira." The number hung in the air like a bomb. Emeka's face had gone pale. He looked at the documents, then at Chidinma, then back at the screen. "This can't be real." "Oh, it's very real," I said. "While you were lying to people about me being poor, I was funding your lifestyle. While you were treating me like a servant, I was paying your bills. While you were planning to throw me in a government home when I got old, I was making sure you could live comfortably." There was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Kwame standing there with 2 security guards. "Mrs. Amara," he said formally. "Is there a problem?" "Yes," I said. "These guests need to be moved to a different room, and their entire stay needs to be rebilled to their personal credit card." "You can't do this," Chidinma shrieked. "This is insane. She's lying." "Kwame," I said calmly. Please explain to these guests who owns this hotel. Kwame looked at Chidinma and Emeka with an expression of professional courtesy. Mrs. Amara Okafor is not only the owner of this hotel, she is the founder and CEO of Okafor Hospitality Group, which operates 12 hotels across West Africa. She is one of the most respected businesswomen in the region. Color drained completely from Chidinma's face. She looked from Kwame to me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. "This is impossible," she whispered. "No," I said. "What's impossible is that I raised a daughter who could treat her own mother this way. What's impossible is that I loved you so much that I let you abuse me for years." I turned to the security guards. "Please escort them to a standard room. And make sure all charges from their previous room, including all meals, spa treatments, and beverages, are transferred to Mr. Okonkwo's credit card." "Mama, please," Emeka said, his voice shaking. "We can talk about this. There's been a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding," I said. "You were very clear last night. I'm a burden. A pathetic old woman you can't wait to be free of. So let me help you with that." "You're free. What does that mean?" Chidinma asked, tears starting to form in her eyes. Real or fake, I couldn't tell anymore. "It means," I said, my voice steady and strong, "that you're on your own now. No more money from me. No more gifts. No more bailing you out when Emeka's business ideas fail. You wanted to be free of me? Congratulations. You got your wish." "You can't do this to us," Chidinma said, her voice rising to a shrill pitch. "I'm your daughter. Your only child. You can't just abandon me." The irony of her words was almost funny. Almost. "I'm not abandoning you," I said. "I'm doing exactly what you planned to do to me. I'm setting boundaries. I'm protecting myself. I'm choosing my own peace over your convenience." I looked at my daughter, really looked at her, and I saw a stranger. This wasn't the little girl I had raised. This was someone I didn't recognize. Someone who had taken my love and twisted it into something ugly. "The children," Chidinma said desperately. "What about Ada and Chinidu? You're their grandmother. And you told them I was a lying, poor, embarrassing old woman," I replied. "You poisoned them against me before they even had a chance to know me. That was your choice." The security guard stepped forward. "Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo, if you'll please come with us." As they were led away, Chidinma looked back at me one last time. "I'm sorry," she said, and for a brief moment I thought I saw genuine regret in her eyes. But it was too late. Some things, once broken, can never be put back together. That afternoon I called my lawyer and updated my will. Everything I had built would go to charity and to my loyal employees. Chidinma would receive nothing. I spent the rest of my vacation alone, but for the first time in years I didn't feel lonely. I ate at the hotel restaurant. I swam in the pool. I read books on the beach. I talked with other guests and remembered what it felt like to be treated with respect. On my last day, Kwame came to see me. "Mrs. Amara," he said, "I hope your stay has been better after the incident." "It has," I said. "Thank you for everything." "May I ask you something?" he said hesitantly. "Of course. Do you regret what you did?" I thought about it for a long moment. "No," I said finally. "I regret that it had to happen. I regret that my daughter became the kind of person who could treat me that way. But I don't regret standing up for myself. For the first time in my life, I chose me. When I returned to Lagos, I threw myself into my work. I opened a new hotel in Calabar. I started a scholarship program for young women who wanted to study business. I donated to charities that helped widows and single mothers. Chidinma tried to contact me several times. Calls, texts, emails. I didn't respond. She even came to my office once, but security wouldn't let her pass the lobby. 6 months later, I heard through mutual acquaintances that she and Emeka were struggling financially. Without my money propping them up, Emeka's business had collapsed. They had to sell their house in Ikoyi and move to a smaller place. Ada had to change schools. Part of me felt guilty. Part of me wondered if I had been too harsh. But then I remembered that night at the bar, hearing my own daughter celebrate the idea of my death, and the guilt faded. Today I am 69 years old. I wake up every morning in my penthouse overlooking the Lagos Lagoon. I go to work at my company where I am respected and valued. I have dinner with friends who appreciate me. I travel to my different properties and see the lives I've helped improve through employment. I am alone, but I am not lonely. I am free from people who only wanted to use me. I am living my life on my own terms. Sometimes late at night I think about Chidinma. I wonder what went wrong. I wonder if I failed her somehow as a mother. I wonder if she ever truly loved me, or if I was always just a resource to be exploited. But then I remember that I did everything I could. I gave her every opportunity. I loved her with everything I had. What she chose to do with that love was her decision, not my failure. The story I've shared with you is mostly true. The names and some details have been changed, but the core of it, a mother betrayed by her child, is real. It happens more than you might think. How many mothers are suffering in silence, being used and discarded by the children they sacrificed everything for? If you were in my position, what would you have done? Would you have stayed silent to keep the peace? Would you have continued to let yourself be abused for the sake of family? Or would you have done what I did and chosen yourself? I want to hear what you think, because every story like this is a lesson. We teach people how to treat us by what we accept. Lessons from this story. When your worth is not determined by how others treat you. Amara spent years being diminished by her daughter, but her value never changed. She was always a successful, intelligent, capable woman. Chidinma's disrespect said everything about Chidinma and nothing about Amara's true worth. True love without respect is not real love. True love involves respect, consideration, and basic human decency. When someone claims to love you but treats you with contempt, they don't really love you. They love what you can do for them. 3. Silence enables abuse. For years, Amara stayed quiet about her success, hoping Chidinma would love her for herself. But her silence allowed Chidinma to create false narratives and treat her badly without consequences. Sometimes speaking up is necessary. For you teach people how to treat you. By accepting poor treatment for so long, Amara inadvertently taught Chidinma that it was acceptable. When we tolerate disrespect, we signal that it's okay to continue. Setting boundaries is not cruel, it's necessary. 5. Financial help without boundaries creates dependency and resentment. Amara helped her daughter financially for years, but because there were no boundaries or expectations, Chidinma began to feel entitled to the money. She didn't appreciate the help because she thought she deserved it. Help should come with clear communication and reasonable expectations. 6. Children learn values from what we do, not just what we say. Chidinma's children were learning from their mother's behavior that it was acceptable to disrespect elders. By allowing that to continue, Amara would have been complicit in teaching them those values. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to model or enable bad behavior. 7. It's never too late to choose yourself. 68 years old, Amara decided she deserved better. No matter your age, no matter how long you've tolerated something, you can always choose to change your circumstances and demand the respect you deserve. Being alone is better than being disrespected. Many people stay in toxic relationships because they fear loneliness. But Amara discovered that being alone with peace is far better than being surrounded by people who make you feel worthless. 9. You cannot force people to value you. No matter how much Amara gave, no matter how much she sacrificed, she couldn't make Chidinma appreciate her. You can only control your own actions, not others' responses. Some people will never value what they have until they lose it. 10. Real strength is knowing when to walk away. took more courage for Amara to cut ties with her daughter than it would have taken to continue accepting abuse. Walking away from someone you love because they're hurting you is one of the hardest but most important forms of self-respect. The question we must all ask ourselves is this: are we accepting treatment from family that we would never accept from strangers? And if so, why? Family is important, but family should not be a shield that protects people from accountability for their cruelty. Blood relation does not give anyone the right to abuse you. Choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose your dignity. Because if you don't value yourself, you cannot expect others to do it for you. God blesses those who know their worth and refuse to settle for less.